Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Peace and Plenty in 20. I'm your host, Janine, and I'm joined this evening by a very special guest, my husband, David. We've been talking about doing an episode together for a very long time prior to even having this show, just talking about going on Instagram together or whatnot.
I think people said we should have a reality show.
There,
I don't think it was a compliment, by the way.
there have been recommendations that we have a reality show. If you spent some time in our house, you would understand why.
A minute or two.
Yeah. So today's episode, the reason that I invited Dave to be on is because today's episode is all about communication. And though we're going to be talking about communication, a husband and wife, the fact is that there's communication breakdowns in all types of relationships. So we're going to be sharing experience from a marriage perspective, but the strategies and the tools that we're going to talk about today apply to all important relationships, whether you're married, single, divorced, widowed,
or just your friends.
Right, in friendships and other kinds of relationships, like with your children,
Yep.
family members, colleagues, maybe future partners. So we wanted to kind of just share our experience and also talk about, we narrowed it down to three tools that you could use to help with your communication and relationships, and things that we have found have created like a stronger bond between us, right? Like a better connection.
Yes, but it was a trial and error, and it was over time, and it's not like we figured this out years ago. It's been an evolution.
Yeah, and to that point, still a work in progress. Okay, so we're going to share three tools. And then, as you know, in all of my episodes, I'm going to leave you with an action to try this out for yourself this week. And yeah, let's dive into it. You ready?
Yep.
All right, so the first tool that we want to talk about is the intention question. Okay, so tool number one, we're calling the intention question. Do you want to share what that is?
Sure. Well, do you want me to just give an example of what happened recently, or do you want me to go right into the...
Why don't you give? I'll explain briefly what it is, and then you
Okay.
can kind of
Perfect.
share. So, the intention question basically is just asking the person, "What do you need from me right now?" And this can work in any kind of relationship. And this came up between us recently, like last week recently. So it's very
It was yesterday.
it's very fresh. And then Dave, I'll let you share the example
Sure.
of what that could look like.
Yeah. All right. So basically, it was yesterday morning, and I was basically annoyed about something, and I was kind of just bitching. I was just not happy, and about something that happened, and I wanted to bitch about it. And Janine is, can I say you're an empath, or we have to edit that out?
Yeah.
Okay, she's an empath. So she basically is now taking on my stress. She's taking on my, just my attitude, and she's feeling bad, and I could see that it's in her face, and she's asking me, she's like, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what I should do. Like, I'm like, nothing. Just don't do anything. I'm like, I don't need. There's no solution to this. It's kind of like it is what it is, and I accept that. But I want to bitch about it. And she's like, well, how do I help you? And I go, you don't help me. I said maybe I should have come downstairs and said I just need to bitch about this. Please just either just be listen to me or pretend to listen to me. I do talk a lot, so sometimes you just have to pretend. Did you make a face?
No.
Anyway, so but I probably should have been more of a, hey, this is not. I don't need an answer. I don't need you to figure this out. I just need you to listen, and obviously, sometimes people don't. That's something that I've worked through, and I've been in therapy and whatnot, and I'm not ashamed to say that. But it's something that I've kind of feel comfortable being able to say, this is what I should have said to start off the conversation. But if you're more in tune with the other person, or more in tune just with your own feelings and other people's feelings, you could just say, hey, listen, I see you're upset. What do you need from me? Mm-hmm. Do you need me to come up with a solution? Is this something that we can figure out together? Or is this just like, hey, I just need somebody to bitch to and maybe commiserate with me, or whatever the case may be. And I think that, it's for us, that is something that is a newer thing to do it together. I've done it with, or I've kind of feel comfortable talking about my feelings with people. But it's, sometimes there's a breakdown in communication, especially between, husband and wives, especially because you have, or significant others or friends, where life gets in the way and you're not really on the same, you're not seeing eye to eye on a lot of things, and the other person doesn't know what you need, and you have to just be forthcoming.
Right. And I think that's a good point, is that not only do you not necessarily know what someone needs, but we're also just operating out of pattern, right? Out of habits. Like, right. How, like, I'm just used to being like, how can I fix it? How can I fix it? How can I fix it?
Right.
And
because you're always dealing with the girl's problems. And
right.
A lot of times it is a fixing things.
But this also, that's another great point. This also works great with your children. And that's something that I have started doing, because sometimes, and oftentimes it feels like a lot of fixing, but oftentimes they really just kind of want to
bitch, get it off their chest,
or vent.
They want to feel like somebody's in their corner.
You want to feel seen and heard.
Yeah, but also at the same time, like, they may feel like, you know what, am I overreacting to this? Am I blah blah blah? Like, it's kind of like you want your feelings to be validated, and be like, you know what, if somebody comes in and says, you know what they did to you or what happened was not okay, and that just gives you, the person who's obviously upset about it, just a feeling of validation, for lack of a better term, which I know is just repeating myself.
That's okay. So I, again, how can I help? Or another way that I've said it.
What do you need from me?
Sorry, I said that in reverse. My brain goes a little fast. Right. What do you need from me? The way what I just said is what I say to the girls a lot of times, which is, how can I help? Like, what do you need from me? How can I help? And that feels like so simple and so direct, but right. That's the missing link sometimes, is that we just assume what the other person wants or needs,
right?
But we don't really know. And you also have to be vulnerable enough to
ask for help if you need
right,
help. Right,
exactly. And that's a whole nother show topic.
The person that you're actually speaking to has to understand, like, when you say, what do you need from me, you almost, I don't know, I think that some people may take that as in you're trying to help them solve a problem, as opposed to,
right, so
or how can I help you? Like, it's almost like,
so you're right.
So you have to be like, hey, like, almost just put the words in their mouth. Yeah. Like, do you need me to just listen and you bitch to me and, like, we're in this together, or are we? Do
you want me to help you find a solution?
Correct.
Or want me to help you figure it out? Didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
That's right.
That's something that I'm working on too with ADHD. Okay, so that's tool number one. Just be intentional. Like, figure out the intention. What does the other person want or need? Okay. Tool number two. I need a time check. I forgot to set my timer. Hold, please. Okay, we're good. Communication tool number two is basically acknowledgement and the power of acknowledgement. And what I mean by that is what we were just saying, is that everybody wants to feel seen and heard, right? So when this comes to, we'll talk about how this applies to our relationship, but in terms of, this also applies to, like, our parents, which is very hard because we're in the busiest season of our lives, and our parents are probably in the least busy season of their lives.
I didn't say that.
No, it's not an insult. They know that. And
out of the will.
I should have put a trigger warning at the beginning. it's not about necessarily having to spend an inordinate amount of time, but just that acknowledgement of, hey, how you doing, or sending a text, you know, how's it going today, how are you feeling, mom, like that. Same thing, just checking in with friends and family members. But I want you to explain from your perspective how being acknowledged, how me acknowledging you helps you, like, I mean, and helps our relationship in terms of like communicating and connecting.
Right. I think that for me, for many years, you know, and I think this happens with a lot of people. You kind of put your blinders on, you go to work, you do your thing, you come back, and it's like work is work, but at the end of the day, you're working. Me, you know, I'm working for my family. You know, I'm working for a better life for them and for things that I didn't necessarily grow up with, although my parents are wonderful people and they provided so much for me. But as far as, but you're just trying to maintain a happy, healthy, safe environment. And I just want to come home and not to a house full of people that don't even look up to me. Like, I mean, when I say look up, I mean like look up from whatever they're doing, and like I would love just a hey, oh, welcome home, or hi, how are you, or how was your day, or hey, dad, whatever. Just an acknowledgement I'm home, which is very very simple to do. It as opposed to walking from the back door, you know, the sliding glass door, and walking upstairs and coming back downstairs and be like, oh, I didn't know you were home, even though you walked right past them. You know, it's like, it just maybe gives you a little sense of, oh, they were like almost waiting for me to get home if you acknowledge it, mm-hmm. as opposed to you walked upstairs, you walked back downstairs, you walked upstairs, you walked back downstairs. I didn't even see you get home. It means like they are not thinking about you. Meanwhile, you're just working because providing for them is your everything. For me, I mean, again, other people have their whys, but mine is my family.
Yeah, and I think it's just so the acknowledge. Tell me if you think I'm saying this correctly, but the acknowledgement tool that we're talking about is like, it doesn't take much time, but it's just like recognizing your presence and your existence.
Right. And
is that fair?
That's 100% fair. I almost wanted to just keep it simple, but
yeah, exactly. No,
you know, obviously, I will be front and honest. And for my friends and family that know me, I'm needy. So if I had my druthers, I don't even know where that word came from, but I love it. But if I had my druthers, you know, if I'm not going to ask her to jump off the couch and run to me, but if she got up and gave me a hug, gave me a kiss, gave me, you know, just to put her head on my shoulders, whatever the case may be, that would be kind of like, I mean, just a Super Bowl for me.
It would mean, right, it means so much to you. And that's an interesting point.
It's not much.
No,
I'm not asking for anything. It's just the affectionate acknowledgement.
Right. That does take it a step further, and I feel like that's a whole nother episode because...
Right. Well, that's why I didn't just jump into that. But again, it's just simple acknowledgement. It's nice too.
That's the baseline, right?
Yeah.
Just the baseline. And again, now I'm thinking about maybe future episodes if you guys are interested, because that whole affection piece too. Yeah, and that doesn't take much, and that's something that I have to really make intentional on my part, and not because I don't love you more than anything,
right,
or want anything different. It's just that you know, both
you came from a loveless marriage home. I get it.
God.
No, I'm kidding, Mom. Mill.
It's just that. So, your love language is touch,
mm-hmm.
and we made the joke that we have a wonderful therapist too. Very open about that. And when a while ago, we're talking with her, she's like, all right, so what are both of your love languages? And he's like, mine's definitely touch. I'm like, mine is definitely don't touch me.
Yep.
So that's something that you would need, but I have to be intentional about it. And it's also important to express, though. And I think it's taken a lot of time and work, but
25 years.
It's not my lack of love for you. It's
Right.
just, we are wired certain ways.
Right.
But I also acknowledge that, once in a while, it would be hard for you to expect that from me every day. But
No.
yes, once in a while,
Yeah.
like throw you a bone kind of thing, which I think I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's tool number 2, acknowledgement. Time check. Okay. And tool number 3 is similar but different. So acknowledgement is like, I see you. That's it. Like, I see you, because it's easy in a busy day to go through the day feeling not seen.
Hey, you're home. Hey, you're home.
For anyone.
And maybe if you can just even show any sign of that, it's a comforting feeling to have that person home or with you.
Right.
It's even better.
Right. So tool number 3, though, is about respect and appreciation. So
right.
It takes it a step further, right?
Yep.
So tool number 2, acknowledgement, is just about existence, where tool number 3 is like about your contribution.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I'll let you explain what that appreciation and respect would look like to someone. Like, how would that feel, and how does that help a relationship?
Well, I think that, I can speak as a husband right now. I hopefully you can talk about other relationships but for me, again, I kind of touched on this before. I go to work. I try to provide a loving, safe, stable environment and household from the way I working and making money and having a roof over our head and being in a safe neighborhood and all these things. Obviously, Janine does her part more in the house, although she's all over the place a little bit sometimes. Not in a bad way, but it just, it's... But regardless, for me, I like the acknowledgement that, hey, thanks for doing that. Thanks for going to work. Thanks, like, and Janine has, actually says it often in front of the girls on purpose, thanking me from her, and even making sure that the girls thank me. Just be like, they would have all for a snow day. I'm at work. I shovel out us, or how often have I shoveled out all the cars, the driveway, gone to work, and everyone had a snow day, so they're often having hot chocolate on going sledding and whatnot. I get home, and it's just nice to be acknowledged for the contribution to what they're getting to enjoy. And it could be just the simple stuff. Hey, thanks for the vacation. Thanks for I was able to go get this nice, whatever, something from the store from the mall, because you're working. For me, and I think I speak for most husbands or men, and again, that's just because that's my mentality. But I think it's trying to just provide for their family, and I think just the acknowledgement of what we try to provide for them is nice.
Right.
What I look forward to.
Right. When you are making, and again, I think so. It's important to note that it goes both ways, though.
100%.
And you do that. For me, I'm just saying, in general,
right.
For people, I think it's important.
But I'm your special guest, so therefore I can only tell one side. You're the therapist, so you have to kind of bring it all together.
I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach.
Oh, a coach. You're my therapist.
Yes. Yeah, but I think it's important also to note that I think small, and again, I feel like that's a whole nother episode, like, especially if that becomes one-sided, like, then that breaks down, right? The communication breaks down.
Right.
So I think it's important to try to get that from both sides. So, a simple way to try that is you offer it first, and then, you can see if it's being reciprocated, and if not, that's a whole nother
and again,
discussion.
We're not, like, I don't think either one of us is asking for we're not asking for anyone to roll out the red carpet.
No, like tonight, thank you for making dinner. Because I had work to do, and I also asked for what I needed.
Right.
Right.
You have to be direct.
Now we're getting to another tool. P.S. Tell us if you guys want more of this, because I feel like we could talk for a long time. And the appreciation and respect also goes for any relationship, right? For friends that are offering support, for family members, colleagues, people at work that want to pitch in, just that little tiny appreciation. And it doesn't take much. Like, just the noticing of, thank you for picking that up for me, or thank you for, it's an important part of communication. Okay, so this week, your action is pick one of these tools. So it could either be intention, if your partner or child or someone in your life, comes to you, ask specifically what it is that they're looking for, and so exactly how you can support. 2, acknowledgement, just like make someone feel seen. 3, appreciate something that they've done for you. So please try one of those this week, and share in the comments. Dave will read the comments too, right?
Did you invite me to this?
Oh my, are you subscribed?
Pretty sure I am.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go check that right now.
Don't do it yet. It'll be like a couple minutes.
So you'll be able to see the comments, and yeah, I want to know. Like, let us know. Maybe you have a different spin on this. Maybe you have, I think having these conversations, and also include, like, getting your partner on board is also very helpful. So thank you, and I acknowledge your willingness to be open and honest.
Well, after the cheese grater thing, where you're still pissed at me that I got more views than.
Oh my gosh, I know, everyone bought the cheese grater. Did you buy the cheese grater? If you're watching,
link is in the bio. No, I'm just kidding.
So anyway, try it this week. Try one of these 3 tools. Let us know what you think. And yeah, thank you again for coming. Best. I'll see you guys next week, next Wednesday.
Not very affectionate. You saw that. It was like, I got a little, hey, what's up, buddy?
A new episode will be out next Wednesday at noon. And I'm open
That seems aggressive.
to ideas for shows, for suggestions. So that's something you can also tell me in the comments. Go find me on Instagram at Janine M. Dermo. Janine, Jeannine. Not sure why you did that, Mom. And until next week.
Just Janine.
I mean, that's how everyone spells it. So
you want to be the same as everyone else? Okay.
That's true. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for making it unique. All right, folks. See you next week.
Do I have to do that?
You can. You don't have to.